Hey, never thought I'd be making another video like this. Genuinely. I thought that Steve maybe getting banned from Smash Ultimate was the biggest news that could happen in like 3 to 6 months. I mean, a character ban in Smash is not something that happens often. What could be bigger than that, right? Well, something bigger happened today, and something way worse. And I feel compelled to talk about it, which is why I'm here. But before I start, let me just sort of paint the landscape for you so you understand sort of what's going on in the world of Smash right now. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're aware of what happened in December of 2022. But if you're not, to get you up to speed, basically we had 2 Smash circuits happening concurrently. There was Video Game Boot Camp with the Smash World Tour. It was a grassroots tournament series that happened all over the planet, but it didn't have official Nintendo backing. On the other side, we had the Panda Cup, hosted by Panda, which did have Nintendo backing, but it was NA only. It had that official sort of shine to it, right? So both these things are happening in December, and then they both didn't happen. They both collapsed. And that topic is for a different video. A lot could be said about that, but I don't really care about that. What I care about is what it meant for the scene at large, and it basically left a crater, this huge void. We used to have these 2 circuits and tournament series to look forward to and a vision for the future. And maybe these are competing visions, but they're both happening. And now nothing's happening. And people are looking at 2023 and they're saying, okay, what's next for Smash? We've been around forever. The passion is there. Surely something's going to happen. Panda ends up dying in the fallout. Panda is just totally gone. Video Game Boot Camp isn't gone entirely, but they're kind of in survival mode. They've had to shut down a lot of their events. They're not streaming as much. Things are bad for both of these guys. But we're looking sort of with hope and optimism at 2023. 2023 brings the esports bubble sort of deflating. There have been a lot of layoffs. Some orgs just completely shutting their doors. Esports in general seems on a very heavy downswing for a lot of different reasons. But it's mostly above Smash's head. Smash kind of is small scale, doesn't seem to be a huge deal, but this also means that Smash can often be the first to go, and we finally, I think, started seeing that happen when the player cuts started happening, which is, you see Sonics, who got dropped by Bandits. Sonics, in case you're not aware, I think a top 5 talent in the world, maybe top 10 if you really want to argue about it, but extremely talented Smash player. No way you let this guy go if you want to play Smash for your org. But then there's also Leo, who, good God, why would you ever let Leo go if he's under your banner, especially if you're a Tier 1 esports team in T1? This is huge. Maybe he's looking for a different team, but I doubt it. This would be the terrible time to do it, and he had his business emails there. So players are now getting dropped from orgs in Smash, and people have said these aren't the only 2. More are coming. Cosmos also getting dropped from Beast Coast as well. Cosmos, another top 10, maybe top 20. Like he's up there, depending on how good he's playing that day. Cosmos is extremely talented. What is happening? Things are very dire. They're not looking good. And the calendar's pretty open for this year. It doesn't feel like there are that many events to look forward to. What's going to happen next? It turns out what would happen next is the worst news of all, as LD, who I believe is a co-founder of Beyond the Summit, ended up posting this Google Doc where, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because, I'll let him speak for himself. But what this says in essence is BTS will be closing its doors and shutting down in the immediate future. It does say that they're still going to run Smash Ultimate Summit 6, which is fantastic. Great. Good to hear. But after that, they're going to be shutting down. And they're doing this now, and they're announcing it now because they want to give everybody 2 weeks of severance along with a little bit extra if you've been there for a long time, which is a fantastic idea, right? It's a very noble goal. It's great to hear that they're helping their team and their company like this, the people that made BTS what it is. Speaking personally, I loved working with BTS. I had a great relationship with a lot of the guys there that I talked to. I have nothing really bad to say about them. It was just fantastic. I don't know. Every time you went to work at BTS, whether it's actual Summit or they're streaming something, it's just easy to do. They were professionals in an industry where a lot of people aren't. They were good at their jobs in an industry where it's like everybody's self-taught and kind of learns with their heart. But when you went to Summit, it felt like they really were trained. These guys knew what they were doing. They had the knowledge, they had the know-how, and they had experience. And BTS always felt special because of that. And it really sucks that they're gone. And this is devastating. Like, this is a huge scar for the scene. in a way that I don't know if people are really comprehending, and that's sort of why I'm making this video. Often I don't make videos about stuff like this because who cares? I'm just one guy. Who cares what I have to say, right? But as somebody who's been around in the scene since 2010, I feel a certain type of way about this, and I sort of wanted to convey it to you, okay? So I've been around for a very long time, and I've seen a lot of things happen. Things change, regime changes, if you want to call it that. In the early Brawl, there was Clash tournaments against Video Game Boot Camp. 2 streaming guys, right? 2 streaming orgs, and which one is going to come out on top and stream the biggest stuff? There's this whole back and forth, and Clash tournaments was on top for a long time, but Video Game Boot Camp really came into their own with Project M. PM at Xanadu was huge, biggest local, in PM history, one of the first locals ever, was a huge deal back then. There were things like 2GG in Smash 4 where they're hosting these huge tournaments on the West Coast, and everybody's talking about those because you've got to go to a 2GG event. Those are the sickest events. They're all themed. They're held at an esports arena in a warehouse. It's fantastic. 2GG were the hot guys for a little bit. Unrivaled Tournaments, who were a broadcast org from the Midwest, who never really sort of broke the top layer, but they really elevated broadcasts in a way that a lot of people hadn't seen, and they really changed the face of what Smash production could look like. It was fantastic. They were the best. The reason that I'm saying all this is because there was a time where BTS and Summit were the small fish. VG Bootcamp used to stream pretty much every big tournament, and then BTS sort of ended up getting some deals, and they ended up streaming these tournaments, and they were the ones making them happen. It came at a pretty significant viewership loss, if I'm not mistaken. This is how I remember it. But basically, BTS Smash had to build their channel up. So the tournament would have less viewership, but the idea is that the long-term play is that BTS becomes a pillar in the scene. There are a lot of business dealings and things that happen, whatever. I wasn't involved in any of that, so I don't know. But the bottom line is that BTS built itself up over time. And over all of these years and things that have happened, there's always this sense of like, okay, this is the future. This is what's happening next. Maybe things get smaller, maybe things get bigger. There's always this idea of where the scene is headed, and you kind of see where the boat is going. With BTS dropping, and with all this other stuff happening, I don't know what's next for Smash at all. And this is literally the first time I could ever say that in the history of Smash. Genuinely. And I know that Melee is its own thing, and Melee has said this before because Melee has its unique challenges, being, a game that really is sort of, it only exists by passion. Ultimate doesn't have the same passion, straight up. It just doesn't have the same, the history, the fan base, it's just not the same. This is the first time I could say, I don't know what's going to happen next. And that is a really weird thing to say. And not to doom post too much, but BTS dropping is a huge, huge blow to the Smash scene in general. I don't know who streams tournaments now. I don't know who steps up and ends up doing things. Obviously, even Matchup can still do GOML. There are still probably local scenes that could pick up the slack and start streaming the tournaments on their end, but the viewership is going to be so much lower. The followers are so much lower. That means that the people that are coming in, foot traffic, that don't know the tournament's happening, and they click on Twitch, they say, oh, there's a big Smash tournament. Way lower viewership means probably less sponsorship deals, which means the TOs are going even more in the red. They're already hurting. This is bad. And I don't know if this means a lot of people are saying it's a new dark age for Smash, whatever. I don't know what this looks like. But it is, I think that's the scariest thing, is that there's always this idea of what would happen next. This is the first time since 2010 that I've been like, I have no clue what's going to happen in the world of Smash. I have seen a lot of people say, oh, here comes, Ludwig with the save. Here's Charlie. And while that's a nice thought, I don't think we should be expecting these glorious benefactors to come in and save us. The scenes are just not profitable. And genuinely, in my heart of hearts, I do believe that they would do everything that they could for the scene. I think Ludwig and Charlie are both great guys. They're fantastic guys, and Ludwig has more than shown how much he's willing to sacrifice for Smash. I mean, good lord, right? He's held so many huge events that have been a negative, but it's because of his passion and his love. But you can't sustain an entire scene, especially 2 different scenes that aren't even really brothers. They're more like cousins. They don't really overlap all that much. You can't do it, especially not with one guy or 2 guys. Smash just hasn't found a way. And it's weird to say that in 2023 with all the viewership, with all the passion, with everything that it has. It's unbelievable that we're still here where we are. The reason I'm making this video is because, again, this is the first time I've ever been uncertain into where the scene is headed. And I'm being fully transparent here. I don't mean to doom post too much, but I would recommend you not put all of your eggs into the Smash basket. And I know you've probably heard that before. But if anything else, guys, this whole gaming thing is a career for so few people. Just don't do it, all right? Treat it like a hobby. If you end up being really good or you go crazy, that's fine. But Smash has, once again, proven itself to be quite risky for those trying to get into it for realsies. And it's just, this is probably the most dire things have ever been in the Smash world. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, I guess. I hope I don't have to make another video like this. I don't like doing it, but I did it before, and it was okay. It was kind of fun to do the last video. This one's way less fun, but I thought people might want to hear what I had to say. If you do, then subscribe and like. If you don't, I'll take the hint. Genuinely, it's fine. I'll see you next time. Bye.